Welcome to Conversations with Toy, a blogcast tackling life one episode at a time. This is the time to air out life's craziest moments. This space is all about speaking about life's hang-ups and ways in which we can leave better than when we started. Topics are all about ways we can find space to be better in life, love, mental space, and health.
Happy Friday! I hope that you have had the most absolutely amazing week. But just in case you didn't, I want to send so much grace to you because listen, it's not always as easy as it looks to get through a week because the week has its own set of challenges from work, from families, from responsibilities. Trust me, ask me how I know because I know. Thank you for tuning in to Conversations with Toy. I am Toy, the podcaster. I am going to talk to you about self-care, mental health, what's happening on these internet streets, and so much more. So if this is the first time that you have tuned into Conversations with Toy, please understand that I don't think that simply things just happen. You didn't just happen to stumble across this podcast this week. I hope that you're stumbling upon this podcast is because you needed to hear something. Something in this podcast was going to encourage you. Something in this podcast was going to be able to take your mind off of the stress that you are already dealing with. Something in this podcast is going to make you learn something. Maybe make you think. Maybe make you see yourself or feel like you've been seen for the first time in a long time. Trust me, I understand that all too well. My personal story, just to share real quick for those who are just tuning in for the first time. I deal with anxiety and depression. And I don't say that to just be like calling that in. I grew up in church my whole life, and the old school people would say, you know, you don't need to call that into your life because when you call that stuff into your life, you're speaking on yourself. This isn't about speaking anything on yourself. This is about having an honest conversation about where you are, who you are, and the things that you go through. I suffered from postpartum depression from the birth of my second child and then subsequently to the third. And to be honest with you, I probably suffered from the first and just was so overcome and overwhelmed with the new responsibilities that I didn't realize I was even going through it. With my postpartum depression, I found that I was having some serious issues from learning how to balance, what is that when you're a new mom or even a mom with, small kids. But in the midst of that, I found a way to get through that. Now, I know that everybody doesn't believe in taking medication, and I'm not here to persuade you. I'm not going to knock you down and make you take it because that's not what I'm here to do. What I will say is that I took medication while I was going through postpartum depression with my second child, very temporarily until my doctor took me off. I will say this, if you are ever placed on medication for mindsets and your mental health, please do not take yourself off. Please follow the instructions of your doctor. By the time I got to my third child, I really did understand postpartum depression just a little bit more. I did everything that everybody tells you to do. Everybody tells you that when you are going through postpartum depression, that you are supposed to talk to your community, your village. Here's the thing about the community, and here's the thing about the village. If the village and the community is not also being trained to understand the signs of postpartum, which vary from different women to women, oftentimes when you go to talk to them, you'll hear things like sleep when the baby sleeps, eat and get your rest, take a shower, relax, calm down. It's not that serious. It's not that deep. In actuality, everything that they said, it was actually very much serious. Even with taking a nap and sleeping when the baby would sleep, I would still wake up in such a rage from my postpartum depression. I would still wake up and be very much confused about the feelings that I had going on. Let's fast forward to getting through postpartum depression with both of my two subsequent children after the first. So I have 3 children total. I then discovered things like anxiety. I was having strong amounts of anxiety, and I wasn't understanding what it was all about. Luckily, prayerfully, I had a therapist in place that I had for my postpartum, and I was able to get help. One of the things that I've realized with my anxiety was the need to be perfection, like to be perfect, to have everything on point so that you don't ever look like you're never not missing the mark. I'm just going to tell you that for me, suffering from my personal anxiety and my own struggle, I realized the most amount of pressure that I was putting on myself wasn't really healthy, wasn't really helping me in the least of bits. So if you're suffering with that and you're trying to get it all done, you're trying to make sure it all looks good, I need you to take a step back and realize that, first of all, having it all done and having it done well are two different things. I used to get a lot of things done, but maybe not a lot of things done well. Since then, I've taken things to learn about myself, about the things that I am triggered by, and you know what's crazy? I'm actually also triggered by being a parent. I know that sounds crazy, but me parenting my children and seeing the difference in how I was parented versus how I'm parenting actually is a trigger. It was a trigger, or still is a trigger for me. So I suffer through all those things. And maybe you're thinking to yourself, well, I don't have kids and I don't desire to have kids. Listen, at this podcast, how I roll is that it's not my job to tell you should be having kids. First of all, these kids are expensive. I have 3 kids. All 3 of them are in private school. They all 3 have cell phones. They all 3 have these different things. That's a privilege. Right? That's privilege. And I don't wish that on anybody, to just tell you to go have a bunch of kids that I'm not going to help you pay for, because I'm surely not going to come over there and change none of your children's diapers like you didn't change mine. So I do not agree with telling people to have children, but if you choose to have them, it becomes a lot. So for those parents who secretly, and I mean completely secretly, say to yourself, I don't understand why me parenting my child is a trigger, I want you to know you're not alone. And the reason why I'm going to say it out loud is because oftentimes you can't. When you're in a circle with other people, whether they're a parent or not, you say something about kids and everybody's like, oh my God, you can't say that. You can't be honest. We can't be honest. Listen, over here, I like to be honest. I love to be honest because there's too much going on to act like we don't all deal with these big feelings and these big thoughts. And just because you're in your mommy group and a lot of your friends seem to have it all under control, I just want to remind you, they don't. They just look like that, but they don't. They cry just like you do. They get frustrated just like you. They make mistakes in their parenting just like you. But for those who just like, listen, I'm just here for a good time, not a long time. Let me just say, whatever level of anxiety, whatever level of your mental health journey that you're on, please understand that regardless if it differs from mine, it may not look like mine and mine may not look like yours. At the end of the day, we need to understand that these things are very much normal. We're not magical unicorns. And although we feel like we're in a sea of one, trust me, there is multiple people supporting you, because at the end of the day, we go through a lot of things the same. So before we get to our guest today, I want to talk about what's been happening on these internet streets. One of the biggest things that happened this week was Facebook and Instagram went down, and lots of folks have lost their marbles. My God, the amount of people, first of all, I found out, which is the way I always find out, anytime one of the social medias go down, I honestly go to Twitter. Twitter, I know or X, I'm never calling it X, it's going to be Twitter for me until whenever. But Twitter is usually the place where you can confirm whether or not something went down, especially when it's Instagram or Facebook. And I'm going to keep it honest, I feel like Instagram and Facebook go down the most. I've seen a couple little glitches with TikTok, but most of the time it's Instagram and Facebook. For whatever reason, none of my business is it's above me now. But what I do know is that it went down this week, and it went down for a while. Now, I don't know how long, only because I only found out because one of my besties called, or they text me and was like, hey, can you check my account? I tried to log in. It logged me out. I can't log back in. And I want to make sure that the account didn't get hacked. So I go in, and the second I go into my account does the same. So before I even attempted to get riled up, I just said, let me go to Twitter. And sure enough, on there, it said that Instagram and Facebook was down. So of which I told my bestie, listen, your account is doing the same thing as mine. I think it's down. We'll just have to wait and see. And I went about my merry way. I didn't even really find out that it was back up until, again, I saw it on Twitter, because I do love to use these apps, right? They're there. They're great. They're wonderful. But in the same concept, when these things go down, if your whole mindset is attached to the fact that, oh my God, it went down, what can I do? What am I going to do? Am I going to breathe? I think we need to change that, because these things are going to go down. Like, it's social media, and social media is known to fail. This brings me to one concept of, if you are a small or big or however business owner, even if you have, like, let's say you're a foodie and you have a foodie page, get yourself a website. Put some of your highlights and your reels and things, and I don't just mean reels, REELS. I mean like the things that you want to showcase. Put that stuff on a website. You have to have some place where you own, that you can control for when things like this goes down. I had just posted a blog post on my website, and thankfully I must have been able to post it to, like I usually do, like some type of content. I posted over to Facebook, and thankfully it was able to go on there before this crash. I say all of that to say this. Things are going to crash, like, quite often. I need you to place and find some place where you can control. I had my website going. The blog was, people was reading it. It didn't necessarily affect it. Now, when I was able to get back onto Facebook and Instagram, then yes, I went and updated it, used my link in bio to attach the blog post to the post and all that stuff. But for the most part, it's just there as an extra advertisement. It cannot be your only place to go where you post your business, that you want to highlight some of the things that you're doing. So if you are a budding business owner, if you are a blogger, a writer, whatever your journey may take you, please get you a website and use it. You need it. Make it your friend. It's my first go-to first. Everything else becomes secondary. Now, the street's been talking about Ressa Tessa, but Ressa Tessa is now signed to CAA, and so we need to say congrats to our girl. Listen, everybody blew her numbers up, and she is worthy and deserving of all the things. Now, Legion, her ex, is saying that she's not, talentless and all this other stuff. I'm not paying that no attention. Now, that's a good example of just basically tuning out the foolishness and just keep it moving. Ressa Tessa, sister, girl, we are here for it. I'm here for when folks are using their platforms and getting at the bag. Listen, let me tell you something. So as a content creator, if you don't know, I am not only a podcaster, but I am a content creator, a blogger. I do all the things, right? And one thing that irritates my entire spirit is that there are so many people that are so concerned with going viral, not because they want to get to the bag, but because they want to just become famous, right? They just want the notoriety to say, yes, I did it. I got these numbers. I hit 1 million. What are you going to do when you hit that million? If nothing else, Ressa Tessa shows us that, first of all, keep posting. You never know, what's going to go viral. I keep telling people that all the time. There are people doing the most on the internet, and if you're going to have your slice of the internet, go ahead and make it work for you. Ressa Tessa is that example. If you are more concerned, like I know people who will not sleep. They literally will sit there looking at their numbers over and over and over again, and I'm like, is you all right? You got to post and move on. Like, you just got to be talented and enough to just post and move on, because I'm telling you right now, some of my biggest things that I've gotten or achieved or collaborated with wasn't just because of the creativity, but because I was consistent. So I need y'all to understand, what are y'all going to do when you become a viral sensation? I need you to do something like a Ressa Tessa and get to the bag. I don't know what else Ressa Tessa has up her sleeves, but the way that she was able to tell and hold a story, I'm here for it. I want her to get behind the scenes. I want her to get all the coins. And so for the people that are mad, super mad, I just want you to put on a cape and be big mad, because we want to support somebody that's out here doing good in this world. There is so much drama on these internet streets. Every time I turn around, folks is arguing with folks in the comment section about what's right and what's wrong. And this young lady said, let me hold these lies, and came and told her story. We all, and when I say we all, you say, oh, I didn't care, I didn't listen to it. Well, you very small number didn't. The rest of us listened, we tuned in. And so I want her to get on somebody's network and turn this into something. I want Legion to go sit his behind down. First of all, nobody outed him until the one girl on TikTok did. And she never did. She just called him Legion. I don't know if his real name is Legion or not. And honestly, I think his real name is Legion, because his mama named him Legion. Either way, but nobody knew who he was. And so, all the rah-rah that he's given her, we just gonna look at him and do one of them black mama roll our eyes and just keep it moving, because we know this is a bunch of foolishness. But I'm super excited, super grateful, super happy for her, because you gotta be happy for somebody. Like, if you're a hater, say so, identify yourself. But for the rest of us, we know that congratulating anybody else and being supportive to somebody else is going to be when you want that in return. So congratulations to Ressa Tessa. I wish her nothing but the best. Now, before we bring our guest, I want you to listen to this amazing guest, because we're talking about being committed to something. Now, we all think that we're committed to a lot of things, but I have Joris, and he is from Cirque du Soleil. And he stayed committed with his gymnastics and then went and turned it into being in a professional circus. If you've ever been to any Cirque du Soleil, you know that those shows are absolutely mesmerizing. And all he did was, one, stay true to himself, stay true to his craft, and continue being committed. The word of the day is committed. What are you committed to? People ask me all the time, even with the blog, how did I grow the blog from being from like 6 readers to almost 1 million readers a year? I'm going to tell you this real quick. I stayed committed. I would post and write, even if only them the same 2 people was reading it. I kept on showing up. And the conversation that we have with Joris, I hope that opens that up for you, because so many of us are, we think that we're committed. We're committed if it looks good. We're committed if it sounds good. We're committed if it goes well. But I need you to show up and be committed, even when the things go left, even when the support doesn't feel like it's there. I hear people say all the time, my family and friends don't support me the way they support strangers. I'm going to clue you into a little bit of a wisdom nugget. Your family and friends are not your ideal audience, so therefore they're not in tune. I need you to shine and show up even if none of them care. But I'm going to tell you something else that's going to happen. Let you hit something big. Let you do something great. And won't you see them same folks that didn't support you? Don't cut them off. Don't say you weren't there shooting with me in the gym. Tell that to yourself. You already know that in the back of your head. Don't tell them. Just make sure that you know that when it comes time to hit them red carpets, when it comes time to reaping them rewards, note them. And when they say, "Ooh, girl, can I come?" Say, "No, thank you." And then invite the ones that's in your corner hard, because sometimes strangers will be the ones that, I'm telling you, will puff you up like Puff the Magic Dragon. You hear me? So stay committed. Stay committed to your dreams. Stay committed to everything that you started. Who would have known that Joris would say, I started something and getting into gymnastics, continue on with injuries. I kept pushing, and here I am doing one of the most beloved shows of all times. So without any further ado, I'm going to bring him in and we're going to have the most amazing conversation. All right. Conversations with Toy Family. I have an amazing treat. I really do. So today I have gone to, I don't know if you're familiar, which I believe you should be, with Cirque du Soleil. It is one of the most pristine acrobatic shows I have ever been. I've gone to several different cities, different states, and every time they're good. Like, absolutely amazing. So we have the unique pleasure of having one of the acrobatic performers here, and we are going to talk about the show. We're going to talk about the things that he learns from the show, the things that he puts out, and a little bit behind the scenes about self-care and mental health, because that's what we talk about here. So without any further ado, thank you, Joris, for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So can you just tell, for those who are listening, what the Cirque du Soleil show is? Like, for me, I know that you guys have a lot of different themes and things that you cover, and I would love for the audience who are listening to know what that is.
Sure. So actually, Cirque du Soleil is a circus company that I've been around for the last 40 years. It's actually coming up for the next anniversary this upcoming summer, actually. So there is different shows. The show that I'm working with currently is called Corteo. And this show has been it's a classic one. So we're really looking forward to see you in Allentown. But it's a really classic one from Cirque du Soleil. It has been touring the world for the last 20 years, actually. So it's gonna be a really good one for you guys. Yeah.
That's amazing. So for those who are listening, they are going to be in Allentown at the PP&L Center from March the 28th to the 31st.
Exactly.
Then they're coming back to Philly to the Leah Court Center from May 29th through June 2nd.
Exactly. So for those that are missing us in Allentown, you guys actually have a second chance to come back to Philadelphia. Yeah.
Yep, 2 chances. Now, I'm going to see you guys in the Allentown show. I can't wait. I'm bringing the whole family. We are super excited. And you said 40 years.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. So
what
there
makes
is
you want to keep doing it?
Oh, yeah. No, for sure. So in talking about my show, I'm not the only artist actually on stage. There is 53 of us, and out of those 53 artists, there is actually 7 of them that are part of the creation that has been part from the beginning of that show, which was 20 years ago. I started 2 years ago, so I'm kind of one of the new one, but some of them have been here since the beginning, actually.
Oh, wow, that is absolutely amazing. So what exactly do you do? What's your part of the performance that you're going to do?
So what I'm doing is actually called the Russian cradle. It's kind of think about it as a giant trapeze. And it's a giant trapeze. And basically for those that do a little bit of fitness and go to the gym, think about a kettlebell swing, that you swing between the legs, but we do it with a human being, actually. So that's what I'm doing specifically in the show, with obviously other things as well. Yeah.
That's actually amazing. I think the last show that I went to, that was one of my favorite parts, only because I am not afraid of heights. I'm not afraid of heights,
Okay,
but
okay.
I'm not. But when you see how your bodies are literally swinging and swinging and swinging,
Hmm.
it's like, how in
Yeah.
the world? Because all I need is like one cough, one slip up, one look at something, and I would just be on the ground. And you guys have been doing that super well.
No, exactly. And we do it, on a daily basis, So for us, we are used to, even for those like that are less familiar with the height, we do like a lot of trainings as well, during the week, So like this, we can offer a great performance for you guys. Yeah.
That's amazing. So how often, you said you do it every day. How often are you practicing it? Because you would have to continue to do it to be making sure that
Yeah,
you're
sure.
perfecting it.
Yeah. So basically, like a normal week for us would start on a Wednesday or Thursday, depending on the market. And we're gonna finish after usually the week will be done by Sunday. So basically we have 2 or 3 days off. So during those 2 or 3 days off, it's really important, at least for me, to stay active. And like this, I can get myself ready for the week of shows actually. So we do between 5 to 7 shows a week. It varies, it's never the same amount of shows depending on the city. But yeah, we do between 5 to 7 shows a week.
Now, what is your personal, you said you had to stay active. What do you do to keep yourself active? Like what is a day in a life look like for you?
Yeah, so for myself, basically, like it's during the walking week, physically it's really demanding. So during the weekend, I'm trying to stay like a little bit active. So just going for walk, going for stretch, eventually doing some meditation. But it's really important for me to stay a little bit active and not just like spend time in at the hotel or doing nothing. So it's like this when I start the week, the working week, the load is not as heavy on my body. Yeah.
Right. How long did it take you? First of all, what made you even decide to start doing such acrobatic? Because this is hard. Like, I
It
need
is, it
people who are
is. Yeah.
listening to understand, like, when they are
Mhm.
literally tossing their bodies, that means you have to toss your body weight around to,
Mhm.
to make this happen. So, what made you decide one day that this was what you were going to do? How did you get there?
Well, so my background is I've been doing like gymnastics, for I'm 32 years old, so I've been doing gymnastics for the last probably like 25 years on a high level. So I was pretty comfortable with my body and body weight. So then it was basically natural for me with the flexibility and the strength that gymnastic gave me to be able actually to work with other people and transitioning to circus.
Wow.
Yeah.
Um, So if someone's listening to this, let's say they have a child that's interested in like gymnastics, what would your advice be to them to tell them like what to do to even think about even starting something like this, to get into something like a circus and getting involved? What would be your advice?
Oh, my advice, my biggest advice would be like to stay committed. It's gonna have like a lot of like up and downs, some challenges, some injuries, because we do work a lot with the body. So the career of a gymnast or even like a circus performer is never like completely flat. So yeah, it's really important to stay committed, stay positive, and with the hard work, anything can be done anyway. Yeah.
I love that. And
Yeah.
what are some of the things, like I know you talked about, staying active, and you
Mhm.
said not sleeping or, relaxing too much in the hotel just because you want to keep yourself active. But what are
Oh, don't get me wrong. I do take naps,
I
like
hope
it's
you
really
do.
important for me. Oh, yeah, yeah. I do take naps, so it's really important to, the recovery time, whether it's sleeping at night, eating well as well, but also having like tiny breaks during the day, as well. Like this, you can be a little bit active during the days off. Yeah. No, no, no. I do love to take naps and
Okay,
sleep at night. Yeah. Yeah.
good, because I love that too. So I was like, I hope that's
Perfect.
I hope you are taking that. Um, what are some of the things that you personally do for like self-care? Like, how do you keep your mind, because you're going from city to city, town to town, state to
Yeah.
state? How do you keep your mind clear and focus on the things that you're doing mentally? How do you take care of yourself?
Well, it's really there's a lot of stimulation, like I love touring, going from one place to another. There is a lot to learn, and on the on the personal aspect, I like history, philosophy, so I like reading books and learn more about the city that we are into. So like like I love going to library, I love going to museum as well. So just to get to know more a little bit the US, and because I'm from Europe, so the way that things are over there is a bit different, so I love just using that opportunity with touring North America and the US to learn more about the country and the culture, whether it's food, whether it's history or music, anything here.
I love that. Um, so when you go to a different city and again, you're
Hmm.
traveling, you're doing all these different things,
Hmm.
how, how do you cope with, again, you're coming from Europe, you're in the United States, you're traveling different places. How do you
Hmm.
cope with a different city and the culture? Because it's different cultures, different cities. Like, just how do you deal with that?
Yeah. Well, you got to be open, you got to be open. That's the first thing, because even what I've noticed, and it's like any other countries, even within the United States, there is like difference from states to states, the way that people are, or the way that people think is different from the East to the West Coast, So you got to be open, and it's always nice to learn from one another, it's super nice. So no, I'm really, really grateful about just being able to um, go from state to state and get to know a little bit more, And one of the things that I'm using is actually the when I'm going to a taxi, I'm always asking to the locals which place I should go and visit, So I'm gonna ask you the question at the end of the interview for Allentown, yeah.
Okay. So I'm all for questions. So then my next question for you is, okay,
Mhm.
you're learning, you're open, you're traveling. What's one of the three top things you love about your job?
Oh, the three top things that I love about my job. So in our show, there is like 18 different nationalities. So it's a big number, and just to get to work with people that are coming from a different background and different countries, that's basically the first thing that I love to do. The other thing, the second thing is just also, again, coming back on what you say earlier, getting to see new places. Again, coming back from Europe, most of the places or cities that we are currently doing on tour would not have been on my plan to go and visit, So just like getting to know those bigger cities, smaller cities, because anything is good to see, And and the last thing about my job, is just like yeah, quality time, with friends and family, that create a nice balance, yeah.
So how are you able to spend time with family and friends if you're traveling so much? How often are you seeing your family and friends?
So basically we have like, because it's such like a heavy load in terms of like traveling, so basically every Sunday or Monday we go to the next city. So because of that heavy load, we have a break every 2.5 months to 3 months. We have a 2 weeks break, and we get to go home, or we get to stay into the city that we want to visit, So on the personal level, I mean, it's really important to stay in touch even between those breaks with my family and my friends. So luckily we have like some apps that we can use, and that makes it a lot easier than just writing letters. Yeah.
Wow, that's good. If you could change one thing about your job, anything at all, what would that be?
Yeah, probably bringing some friends and family with me on tour. Yeah. That would be the thing that I would change. Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. I would be like, can I just have like one buddy that comes and travels with me?
Yes, yes, exactly, exactly. Instead of a luggage, we have two pieces of luggage instead of two. I'm gonna take one, and I can take a buddy with me.
Wow, two pieces of luggage?
Yeah,
Oh,
23 kilo, so 50 pounds, and that's basically what you have, and this is with what you live, basically. Yeah, yeah,
you can see my face. I know y'all who are listening
yeah.
can see my face, but that's a struggle. I'm like packing to go to a trip now, and I'm like 50 pounds. Like, oh my
At
gosh.
the beginning, at the beginning, we are all exactly like this. We come, with like three pieces of luggage, and but again, because we move weekly. then you quickly understand and learn that, okay, it's better to have like two or someone even one, sometimes even one, just to be a little bit more easier on you, actually.
Yeah, I can see that. Oh gosh, 6 pounds. I'm still stuck on that.
Yeah.
Because I'd have been like, I need another suitcase.
Yeah, yeah.
So when you guys move around with the tour, do they provide and move all of the costumes and all of that? They move all of that for you guys?
Exactly. So um what the audience is actually seeing on stage is only like a small piece of the actual show. So basically we have an entire team of technician, from carpenters to rigging, to lighting, to sound. We have also a team of wardrobe. We have a medical team. So the thing that us as artists we have to do is just focusing on the show, and then the rest of the people, the rest of the team is looking after us and taking care of the technical aspect or the medical aspect. Yeah. So the technical team will basically, at the end of each show, on the last show of the week, the technical team would just like pack everything into the trucks, and and then just head to the next city.
Wow. That is pretty amazing. Because I've seen like sometimes when you go to the show, you'll see like I've seen like the big
Trucks.
trucks,
Yeah.
and I can only imagine just with how many people that I've seen on stage at any one given show, just like how much stuff
Yeah,
it
exactly.
is to
So that's
travel.
one of the specificity actually of our show, because it's an arena tour and we move every week. So we need to be able to put everything into trucks, to be able to go to the next city. So we have like 22 trucks, and the show basically will get back into those 22 trucks. Yeah.
Oof, all right. Yeah, I'm not the best packer, so nobody should be asking. I'm not the best packer at all.
That's fine. That's fine. We have a
So
position for everyone.
yes, because that would not be mine. Um, and lastly, I just want to say, what would you describe if someone I mean, I've gone to the show, so I'm familiar, but for those who have never, 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 ever seen the show before, how would you describe? Because I know that each segment of the type of shows are different. So
Mhm.
how would you describe this particular show?
Well, Corteo is actually like a beautiful show. Unlike other shows of Cirque du Soleil, Corteo is actually like played by humans. So we don't play like any animals or things like this. So it's actually make it easier to follow the story. Yeah, that's the beauty, one of the beauty of the show Corteo. Yeah. So
Amazing.
you basically get to play yourself. Yeah,
I love that. So
exactly.
for those who are listening who has never been to the show, I'm going to give you some really quick tips, some really, really quick tips for you to just enjoy your time. First, get there early enough for you to park,
Yeah,
get seated, get your food, drinks, and all the trinkets because you're going to want to buy things to take home. Make sure
yeah.
that you get all of that. Give yourself about a good 40 minutes before the show to get there. You really are going to need that time.
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing, yeah, so just trying to get to the arena like 30, 40 minutes before the show, and like this you have time to get a drink, some even some T-shirt, from Cirque du Soleil for the people that wants to buy some things, and then it's a 1.5 hour show, and there is an intermission of 20 minutes. So on that intermission, it's really important also for the people that needs to go to the bathroom or need to get some food, to do it more or less pretty quick, because then my act will be right away after the intermission. So if they
Yeah, I'm
don't
not
want to
missing.
miss it,
Yeah, you don't want to miss it.
exactly.
And I would say too, conquer and divide. If like somebody's not going to the bathroom and that's coming with you, make them go get the snacks and you head straight to that bathroom because that bathroom line
Exactly.
could be very
Exactly.
long. I need you to get up and go straight to that bathroom. Trust me, I've been to many shows.
Exactly.
I know.
Exactly. So yeah, yeah, yeah.
So again, I can't stress enough. They are coming to Allentown. They will be there from March the 28th to the 31st. Then they're going to
Exactly.
come back and they're going to be at the Leopold Center. But
Yeah.
first, I want you to go to the one in Allentown. Like, get there first. Don't be on the second one.
Yeah,
First
why
one.
waiting? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
don't
And
wait.
then for the people that like it, they can even come back to Philadelphia. So that's perfect.
Yeah, that is perfect. So, what was your question you had for me about Allentown?
So what is Allentown known for then? It's gonna be my first time, so I want to know what is Allentown known for? Yeah.
Allentown is it's smaller than Philadelphia, but
Mm-hmm.
they have a lot of exhibits. So they're known for like a lot of like science factories and museums, and they have like
Nice.
art and like garden music, like
Mm-hmm.
you can go see a lot of the flowers. So they're more known for that.
Okay.
So I would say there's a lot to see as far as like
Mm-hmm.
little mini shows on your days off. You can like kind of slip off and go
Perfect.
see a different
Mm-hmm.
show. That is nothing to do with yours.
Okay,
But I do
perfect.
know that when a lot of shows come to Allentown, it really gets pretty crowded. Like a lot of people do go out and support. So
Okay, well, we are really looking forward to come and do the show and visit you guys here.
awesome. Oh, I will be there. I think I'm there the first day of the show.
Okay,
And
perfect.
yeah, I'm there the first opening day. So I'm
Okay, we will see you there then.
Yep, full family and bringing everybody. So I just want to thank you so much for your time
You're
and just taking the
welcome.
time to explain the show, to tell us
Mhm,
what you do, to tell us what you love about it, and to talk about the self-care part, taking care of
mhm.
yourself while you're touring, being
Exactly.
busy. I do hope that you can see your family and friends soon because I know how long this show is, and it's a little, you got a pretty jam-packed schedule.
Yeah, no, we are in touch, that's the most important, so I'm super grateful and thank you so much for having me, really looking forward to come to Allentown, yeah.
Awesome. So, what did you think about the interview? I loved it. I learned so much about what happens behind the scenes, which is amazing because, again, I have seen Cirque du Soleil different shows. They do a lot of different shows that have a lot of different themes and different storylines. And I've seen quite a few, and I'm excited to see this one. I really am. I cannot wait. In addition to that, today is International Women's Day. I listen for every woman, and those who identify as women, but for every woman, I want you to say to yourself and be proud of the accomplishments that you have made. And I know sometimes we say that, we're not doing enough. So I'm the little person. I'm not doing enough. If you are doing some amazing things in your home, if you are doing some amazing things in your community, if you're just keeping yourself going through day to day and not giving up on yourself, I want you to celebrate that. I need you to get used to celebrating the big wins as well as the small. Today is International Women's Day, and it's a global day, and we celebrate the social, the economic, the cultural, and the political achievements of women. Because as women, we run the world. And I know these men say it's a man's world, but it wouldn't be nothing without a woman. And so I want you to celebrate your wins. I want you to cry when you have your lows. I want you to get that pressure off you to be this perfectedness and do all these things perfect. No, we're going to let that go. We're going to celebrate our wins today. So for every woman that you know, I salute you. I salute every woman that I know. I want to salute and say a special salute to my great grandmother, Olivia Sims. We know her as Mamo. I want to say a big salute to both my grandparents. I want to say a salute to my mother. I want to say salute to my twin and to my cousins and aunts and all those things. I want to salute every woman who has ever tried something, got knocked down, and said, hold my apron, let me get this together. Hold my briefcase as I go into this courtroom. Hold the scalpel while I'm out here and doing surgery. Hold my pen as I write this book and just venture out on something different. I salute every last one of you for International Women's Day. It's an amazing day to be a woman. It's hard to be a woman because we got a lot of things going on in our insides. We got a lot of things going in our mind, and yet we're expected to do it all. We're never allowed to drop nothing, never can fail, never can do anything. And God forbid when we have a moment, they will hold it against you. But as a woman, I couldn't be more prouder. I'm proud of the young ladies that I'm raising. I'm raising two amazing, beautiful young ladies. My daughters mean the world to me. My son does too. I do have one son, but I want to say to my young girls, because they do listen to this podcast from time to time, I want to say that I salute you for everything that you're trying to do and for everything that you ever will be. As a mom, I salute you, and I will stand right by your side for as long as God gives me breath to make sure that I support you, I encourage you, and I don't do anything that's going to tear down your spirit or make you feel as if you have to do anything to get my love. You already received it the day you were born. So I love my babies, my girls, and it's International Women's Day. But it's also Friday, so I want us to get into the weekend. Listen, I am going to be doing some traveling. I cannot wait to share that with you. If you follow me on social, though, you probably already know. But I'll talk about it. I'll give you a little update, recap of all the things. I'm going to be gone for some time, and I cannot wait. So if you're listening to this podcast, thumbs up. I'm also going to put inside this this podcast, because we're getting into the spring. I'm going to put in here in the show notes a little things about spring, a couple of blog posts about spring and travel and some of my travel favorites, because listen, I love to travel, and I think I appreciate traveling more now that I'm a mom, because I can't just up and go. Like, I just can't. So sometimes when I get that chance to go, it's actually a vacation, even if it is for work, because I'm not around my children and I get that little bit of a break. And I know some mom is saying, oh my God, I can't believe she said that. And then there's a million other moms saying, yes, sis, I'm so glad you said that because I be feeling mad guilty. I feel the mom guilt too. I do. It happens. I feel it very deep, but I know I got to get out in these streets and I got to go hit my own goals, because how am I supposed to show my daughters and my son how to hit these goals if I'm sitting at home scared? If I'm scared to make that first step. And let me just tell you, when I first started back traveling after having my children, I almost felt like the anxiety attack was so strong on my life. But you know what? Kicking, screaming, and scared, I came and I went through, and I want you to do the same. So since it is the weekend, I want you to find one activity that you love, one thing that you can do that's all about you. Find one thing, reading a book, painting, whatever it is that you can do. I want you to do that this weekend. I want you to make the best of your weekend, and we will be back next week with Conversations with Toy. Make sure that you also get tickets to Cirque du Soleil if you are in the Allentown or Philadelphia area. And if you're not, I'm going to put the link in the show notes. Maybe you can see where they're playing in a town. They're sitting near you. Get the tickets. It's worth it. An hour and a half of amazingness and acrobatic shows. So make sure you get your tickets. Make sure you're at that show. I'm taking my family. We cannot wait. And thank you for tuning in to Conversations with Toy. You guys have an amazing weekend, and I'll see you on the flip with so much amazing talk about the travels that I'm going to be doing. Stay safe. Philadelphia, stay safe. Philly has been under attack with all these different shootings and things that's been happening in the city. Please check your children. I've said this on my Instagram stories for those who follow me on socials as Toy Time Blog. I'm going to say it again here. Some of y'all parents to get back to the old school just parenting. I need y'all to flip them kids' rooms. I mean, look for all these things, because these kids is out here early as 10 and all the way up to 17 years old. You're out here doing the most. Now, I don't know what the reasons are. I can have my suspicions. I don't got time to analyze. All I know you need to do is go in them rooms and flip them rooms. Find out what they got in your house. Because listen, don't think for 2 seconds that they don't have that mess in your house, because they do. So Philly, stay safe. I love you all. Thank you for listening to Conversations with Toy. Thank you for your support. You guys are so amazing, and I can't do this show without you. You are a huge part of the success of this podcast, and I adore you. Have the most amazing week. Take care of yourself. Take care of your mental health. Take a break. Do whatever it is that you need to do. Don't be ashamed. You're not alone. I love you. See you next week.
Thank you as always for joining me, and I know that even in the deepest or joyful conversations that there's something we can learn and apply. Until next time, I hope that you are doing better. If not, we will be back to talk some more and handle it. Peace to you and yours. Stay grounded.